Secret Letter in the Old Wardrobe. Chapter 1. Inheritance and the Apartment. When my grandmother passed away, it felt as if the ground beneath me had shifted. She had been the quiet pillar of our family, the one who never raised her voice, who always remembered everyone's birthdays, and who somehow made a tiny two-room apartment feel like the warmest, safest place on earth. And I hadn't spent much time there in recent years. Life had carried me elsewhere. Work, friends, endless responsibilities. But as a child, that apartment was my universe. I remember sitting on the balcony on warm summer evenings, listening to the distant hum of trams rattling along the tracks. The scent of her baking would drift out through the window, mixing with the smell of blooming lilacs from the courtyard. Now, stepping back into it after the funeral, the silence pressed against me like a heavy blanket. Clocks still ticked, curtains still fluttered, but the heart of the home was gone. And lawyer had explained everything in dry, official terms. You are the sole heir. The property is now yours. Papers were signed, documents stamped. But in my mind, I couldn't shake the thought. How could this little place, this nest of memories, ever truly belong to me? And I stood in the hallway that first evening, the key cold in my hand, just staring. The apartment smelled exactly the same as when I was a child. Lavender sachets tucked into drawers, a faint trace of her rose soap, and something more subtle, like the scent of old paper and dust, the perfume of time itself. Furniture hadn't changed in decades. The round table in the kitchen still had its white lace cloth, carefully protected under a layer of clear plastic. The china teapot, with a tiny chip on the spout, rested on the counter, as if waiting for her to return. Even her slippers were by the bed, neatly aligned. And I told myself I had to be practical. There was so much to do. Clothes to pack, things to sort, decisions to make. But practicality was impossible.